Hello there, Crystal here. The other day we finally got the news that A Wonderful Life is being remade, and I know I could not be happier. Honestly, I've watched both trailers so many times now, but I want to slow it down a bit and take a deep dive into what was actually shown. So sit back, relax, and let's take a look at what's changed, what hasn't, and what we can expect going into this new version of A Wonderful Life. The opening. It's an iconic moment to be sure, and aside from the obvious change in visuals and camera angles, it looks very similar to the original. I just want to put out there right now, I am so happy they went in this direction for the art style. The original game has such a beautiful environment, so it was important to me that they really stay true to that. The farm itself looks a lot less rundown right off the bat. There's also an area back here that kind of looks like potential storage to me. It looks like they actually removed the building that used to be for the shipping container and your really big fridge. There's also a bell outside the chicken coop now. This is also our first look at the HUD. It looks clean. I'm also happy that it looks like our stamina is displayed like in the newer games. Little changes like that are gonna go a long way to make this feel like a more modern Story of Seasons game. In the next shot, we see our female protagonist, who I really love the redesign for. We also get to see Nina and Galen, I've always just said Galen, in the background out for an afternoon walk. The choice of pointy versus floppy-eared pupper is back. I always choose pointy, what about you? This seems to be another really nice change. In the original, when you enter a field, the camera kind of flips to like this top-down view, but there's no way to change that. It seems like you have normal camera control in this version. Now we can check out inside the barn, and I am so happy they went with this style of cow. Don't get me wrong, I love the bubble cows, but this just fits A Wonderful Life so much better. There seems to be a pen set up in the background, I'm guessing for maybe pregnant animals. Also, just something I noticed, on the chalkboard you can see pictures of a cow, sheep, and horse, but the cow picture is actually a bubble cow. Outside in the field, we get a nice look at our tool menu. We seem to have a hoe, sickle, watering can, milker, shears, fishing rod, brush, and most interesting, a camera. I really enjoy going into first-person mode in this game, so I'm hoping that's returning. Just something else to note here, where the duck pond eventually goes, there's a large rock that isn't in the original game. The chicken coop is very similar to the original layout-wise. It does look a little bit different though. And while I can't play the direct audio for you, I believe the chicken noises and some of the other sound effects we're hearing are actually straight from the original game. They sound identical. I believe also the one on the left here is a rooster from the longer red thingy. What are they actually? I don't know what that's called. And the one on the right that's being held is a female. Nick, Nack, and Flack make their return, and they all look great. I'm also really wondering, what do you guys think this setup is beside your front door here? The cow in the background of the shot looks a lot more like the original cow than the one we saw earlier pattern-wise. Also, note that archway over your farm entrance. Fishing is really similar to planting crops. In the original game, it would force your camera up, whereas here it looks like it's still being controlled by the player. You can also see Chris walking in the background. Next up, we see Ruby, Tim, and Rock, although apparently in this version Tim is named Tay. I know they changed some of the names for the Friends of Mineral Town remake, so this doesn't really surprise me. I will have to get used to it though. This is a really good choice on the developer's part. Lumina is a bachelorette in this version, but it looks like they aged her up a little bit. She is definitely a lot taller than in the original game. I am so happy it's not like in the special edition for PS2 version. She was far too young to be getting married there. Sebastian is also looking very fancy in his new outfit. Okay, can we talk about this glow up? What on earth? Marlin, now named Matthew, is such a cutie. I'm really liking his redesign. Also, what is going on with the plants on the right here? Muffy, now named Molly, is looking cute as ever. This is also a really nice view of the valley in the background. Now, this next scene is interesting. The beach looks almost exactly the same, but we can see a new bachelor. I did see some speculation on the Story of Seasons subreddit that this was actually Cody just redesigned, but I'm not so sure, I don't know. We'll touch more on that later though. You see a couple scenes of Celia and her son. Celia has always been my first choice. This made me very happy to see. They both look amazing. I'm really, really hoping they go all the way with showing your son's interest in his room. It looks like as a child he has a fishing rod and a really weird painting, but as a teenager the painting looks like the farm, and now he has some weights laying around as well. One of the reasons this game is my favorite is the aging mechanic. I am so excited to see how each life stage looks for all of the characters. I'm also curious if we'll see more characters come and go, let's say, from the valley over the course of the game. And that was just the first trailer. There is actually a second one, so we're gonna take a look through that, but I will skip any duplicate scenes, of course. We start with another look at the fields. I'm wondering if when you order a cow, there are unique patterns they could come with, because I've seen so many different looks on the cows across both trailers now. These are shown a couple times, but there are these weird machine-looking things next to some of the fields. I don't think they're watering can refill things, because you see those later on in the trailer as well. So if you guys have any ideas on what those might be, leave that down below. They show a little of the different seasons in this trailer. One of the best parts of the OG game was that the seasons didn't change overnight. It says summer day 10, so the last day of the season, but you can tell everything is starting to go red and brown for autumn. The next shot actually does move into autumn. We can see a teenage Kate, Tay, Wally, and someone who I'm guessing might be a teenage or adult Hugh in the background. Skipping ahead a bit, we get a really nice look at the goat and the sheep. What I'm really interested in, though, is the machine in the background. It's not there from the start, and I'm kind of wondering if it's a seed maker. Okay, this is really, really weird, but I'm also here for it. Murray, now named, I believe it's Pui? I'm probably not saying that right, is completely different. I'm loving the flower crown, though. I am so happy to see these returning. The glowing plants from around the spring. It's such a pretty area, and I know I'll be spending far too much time there just looking around. We get a look inside Romanet's mansion here, and older Lumina is playing piano for Grant, adult Kate, Tay, Chris, and Celia. I always loved how Lumina's piano playing would get better as the years went on. Okay, this isn't so much an observation as it is a joke. When I first watched this, I was very concerned that she just took a chicken out of a tree. The chicken is just behind the tree, but still, it goes by so quickly I didn't realize what I was seeing at first. Next up, confirmation that we can indeed have a daughter. I'm so happy they're bringing that back, but I'm also interested if we get the choice over son or daughter again. A little side note here, you can actually see the calendar only has 10 days in the background, just like in the original. Finally, we get a look at the more mature family eating in the kitchen, and my favorite part is that it looks like everyone is eating healthy except for our character, who has not one, but 2 slices of cake. Alrighty, so there was both trailers so far, but I want to take an even deeper dive, so let's go check out the websites. Starting off on marvelousgames.com, we get a little more info about what the trailers showed. We can see some really nice screenshots here, but just down below it mentions that after each day's work on the farm is done, you can hunt for ancient treasures at the local dig site, so that's really exciting. It also says, this remake of a beloved classic features plenty of new events, enhanced festivals, more recipes to cook, and a cornucopia of never-before-seen crops. I am so glad they're addressing the festivals. It was definitely a little lacking in the original. Just under that, it states, take pictures of your family with the new camera feature, so we did see that earlier. Dress up in your favorite outfits, so I'm wondering if that's returning from Special Edition. Or maybe even the female version, I think that had that also. Or help your fellow residents with their requests. I love requests. I am so excited to see what kind of requests there are and how much we can improve our friendship with people through them. Scrolling down a bit, it also mentions the option to choose between a male, female, or non-binary protagonist, which is so amazing to finally have. We have come a long way from separate male and female versions. We're also able to marry whoever we want, regardless of that choice. Next, let's jump over to the Boku Mono website. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. Now, ahead of time, this is entirely in Japanese, which I unfortunately don't understand, so we're making do with Google Translate. which, you know, something about shop shop, another purchase, enter special law of blood sounds about right. This website actually features a really nice video of the changing times, weather, and seasons. Going down, there's a nice render of both Mark and Pony. Behind this garbled text, we can see some more time lapses of various areas. I love this quote. You move to this strange land and start a slow life by fumbling around. Like, honestly, why is that me? Now, in my opinion, the most interesting part of this website is the character sections. Let's start with the residents. We get to see each of their homes. Well, aside from Muku Muku. If we click on them, we get some really nice renders for Takakura, who apparently has an uncle on his back, Galen, Nina, Vesta, Wally, Chris, Hugh, and Muku Muku. Now, I did say we'd eventually get back to this new bachelor. He isn't actually featured here, but there is an open spot next to Rock. We can see some renders of Lumina, Molly, Rock, Nami, Celia, Matthew, and Gustafa. I just want to take the time to appreciate Matthew's bio. At best, he's a hardliner. At worst, he's a pervert. But he can't stand up to his older sister, Vesta. And that is pretty much everything. I'm sure there's a lot I missed, so if you notice something, why not start a conversation down below? I said it before, and I'll say it again. I never had anyone else to share this game with as a kid, so suddenly meeting so many lovely people online who also love this game has been an amazing time. If you want to stick around to experience it together, feel free to leave a like, comment, or maybe even subscribe. As always, this has been Simply Press Start, where gaming is as simple as pressing start.